Hi everybody, this is my video post for Module 6 discussion. And so we had the one chapter this week, so we have to choose 3 questions to answer. So I chose the first question, which is, how does the chapter's discussion of self-concept explain its role in shaping communication in professional settings? And can you share an example from your own career where your self-concept influenced how you interacted with others? So, based off of kind of my own experience and self-concept, I can talk about kind of when I first entered into the work field when I was 18. I got my first job and I had gotten my degree in dental assisting. And so my first job was as a dental assistant. And I can still remember very clearly that my self-concept was not, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I didn't feel solid in the industry. I didn't know the work field very well. This was my first job ever. And I was very nervous and I didn't know what was kind of expected of me. And so my self-concept in the beginning of my work career, I would communicate with people by asking questions a lot. How do I do this? What would you do in this situation? How should I approach this? And just trying to get as much information as I possibly could so that I could gain some confidence and feel like I had the answers, that I could help other people respond, do more things around the office. And that compared to now, I've been a personal trainer for like 8 years now, and I've been in my management position about a year. And that compared to now, I feel really solid with what I'm doing. I feel confident. I feel proud of myself. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I know what's expected of me, and I know how to get things done without having to stop and pause and ask all these questions. And just having that confidence has really boosted my self-concept of having that ability to be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to second guess myself. I don't need to go to someone else for information. So I think that the self-concept is really influenced by your self-esteem and how you see and view yourself, and even your intrapersonal communication, which kind of gets into the second question. So I'll just go right into it. Number 2 is, based on the text explanation of intrapersonal communication, how does it help in preparing for difficult professional situations like negotiations or presentations? Oh, and I forgot to cite the book for my first question. That was Self-Concept, was page 5. So question number 2, intrapersonal communication, is on page 3. So how does it help in preparing for difficult professional situations? I think that your interpersonal communication can really help prepare you. So I use interpersonal communication, speaking to myself with my own thoughts and in my head, before I do a big presentation, or the company that I work for, we have a board who all of our things have to get approved through them. So I do a lot of presentations on like, okay, let me propose this to you guys. What do you think? And so it can be nerve-wracking getting up in front of a bunch of people who ultimately have the final say. But it's just that interpersonal communication that I utilize of, hey, you got this. You know what you're doing. You've been doing this for a long time. Just breathe, you're going to be okay. Like giving myself these little pep talks of like, it's not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. It's going to be okay. And so I think that it is vital in preparation for the difficult professional situations, because in the chapter it talks about preparation, and I think that preparation is extremely important. If you want to come off strong and confident in what you're speaking on, you need to practice. Just like things that you're demonstrating to a group, or you're giving a group presentation, or you're standing up in front of the class or an auditorium to give a presentation, you have to practice. Otherwise, you're going to be caught up on your own words. You're not going to know what to say. You're going to feel lost. It's going to come off. People are going to be able to notice that. And like negotiate inside the text, describing internal dialogue. Yeah, and so like describing a moment where your internal dialogue shaped your approach. I use my internal dialogue all the time. I'm constantly, prepping for a situation that I know. I have set meetings during the week. If I have something that I need to present during that meeting, I'm going to practice it. I'm going to make sure that all of the points of that topic are covered so that I don't forget anything when the time comes. If I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants, there's no way that I would be able to get all of those little points covered in what my presentation is in the moment. So I need to be able to prepare that, run through it in my head, and even like in my job, like teaching exercise classes. If I just showed up and was like, well, I don't have anything planned, but I'm just going to try and make something up, people are going to be able to tell. They're going to be like, this doesn't flow very well, this is kind of weird. So obviously that takes a lot more preparation than just talking to myself about it in my head. But let's move on to my third question, which is going to be number 5. So that one talks about emotional intelligence. And so emotional intelligence was covered on page 29 of our chapter. And let me read that question. So the text outlines how emotional intelligence affects professional communication. How has your ability to manage emotions, either your own or someone else's, impacted your work interactions? Cite the chapter and share a relevant professional experience. So emotional intelligence. If we don't know how to handle our emotions, it's kind of like a roll the dice and see what you get kind of thing. As a manager, I've had to write people up. I've had to have disciplinary action meetings with people. It's not fun. No one wants to do that. But if you know how, as a manager, you should kind of know your employees and how they respond and how they talk and how they're going to receive something. So on my end, the preparation work is, okay, I know that this person may react this way to getting this information. So I need to be prepared for that. If they're going to get angry, if they're going to start yelling, I need to be emotionally prepared to absorb that and not feed off of their energy and not yell back at them or insult people. I've had people throw every name at the book at me, and it's like, okay, that's okay. Like, if that's how you're feeling right now, like, I'll hold that space for you to have this moment, and it's not going to affect me because those are your feelings, they're not mine, and I don't have to absorb your feelings. So having that ability to control how you feel, it's going to save you a lot of stress. It's something that I've learned over life. It's not something we're just born knowing how to do. Some people don't get a lot of that teaching from their parents. I feel like I was kind of one of those people who I had to go to a lot of therapy to figure out, how do I handle these emotions? I was never taught how to approach these situations. And so you got to do work sometimes. It's not just handed to you, and that's okay. So that one, ability to manage emotions. And then I wanted to share another example of that actually, and it wasn't necessarily at my job right now. I volunteer coach soccer for girls, and at the time, this was a few years back, but at the time I was actively coaching a game, and my girls were on the field, and so they were really, really young at the time, and so they were kind of relying on me to be like, like, what do I do? And so giving them like those little cues from the sidelines and stuff, and I had a parent from the other team come over and start yelling at me and say, oh, this was wrong, this happened, and then they were yelling at me because the ref was in the middle of the field, and so they were blaming it on us, and oh, you did this wrong, and it ended up being a crazy situation. But, I kept my cool, and I was like, okay, that's okay. If you feel that that's how this went, that's okay. We can talk about it with the ref. This was a volunteer-based program. It wasn't anything super serious. And so it's just kind of a silly situation to see somebody get so upset at something like that. But that just shows that, not everyone's on the same level of emotional intelligence, and we need to be prepared for that. and not let it affect our own well-being. All right, so I think that covers my 3 questions for this week. Thank you guys, and I look forward to listening to your videos.